there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another Redmond Roundup, which are going to increase over the upcoming days because we're starting to see big transfer news regarding other teams. Arsenal are making huge business, United are starting to do a few things, so I want to discuss those. But today we are in the Liverpool business. We are going to briefly touch on the transfer news that Fabrizio Romano had for us earlier, and then we're going to touch on a topic that I had that I thought was very important to have, and one that I wanted to open with you guys. First and foremost, Veiga, Thuram, Kone. These are the three names, and apparently, according to Fabrizio Romano, the first name that we want to get through the door is a physical midfielder. Chat, I'm not live, I don't know why I'm calling you chat. That is amazing to hear. It's amazing to hear that the main priority is something that we've lacked for years, which is that true physical presence who can go into the midfield, give us those legs that we lacked last season and have lacked since Gini Wijnaldum left. And if you do hear noise, there's construction being done in the flats around me, so I apologise. But here's the thing, Kone is another physical type midfielder and we're linked with both. Does it mean we will get both, or does it mean we'll get one of each? Because I mentioned those three names. Fabrizio Romano has directly linked us with those three names, and I'm sure that probably means he might not know too much about this situation. So as far as I'm concerned, the furthest Liverpool have got with these deals is direct talks, contact, and maybe not even that. Some of these could still be speculation. The Veiga one, that still seems very quiet. Kone, haven't heard as much about that recently, but the Thuram links are the ones that are the most prevalent in the news. And let's be honest, I think Thuram, although I do see things that he needs to improve on, he's young, he fits within our financial targets. Therefore, I believe that would be a good sign. And let me know in the comments down below if you think he can come in and just mash work, because it would be great if he came in and was just a mixture of Toure and Kante. But let's be honest, if I was to sit here right now and say this is the guy who's going to take us from 5th to 1st, that's not the case. You need additions. Now, another reason why I don't think we'll get all three, because we forget we've just signed McAllister and we've let go of a lot of midfielders, but we've still got Curtis, who's now going to have more of an involvement in the team. So therefore, it's either do you want to get two physical midfielders in Kone and Thuram, which I actually think would be very productive, or do you want to actually be a little bit risky, because I like this type of football, and get Veiga, because he's more of a Thiago type player. Maybe not as good, maybe we need to see if he can reach those heights, but he's got that type of ability. And plus Liverpool are well known for the Spanish era when they, under Rafa Benitez. That was a great time because you just saw some great ballers. So I wouldn't mind it based on what it could be, but based on efficiency in the short term, I do think we need legs in those midfields. So hopefully the first couple of midfielders that we do get, if it is two, hopefully at least one of those are a physical presence, which apparently the club wants. Let me know as well if you had a preference out of those three, who would you sign? We've got the pick of the bunch. We were talking as well, if you're a fan of the other team, you'll notice the way Liverpool don't ever scout in a certain market. We only ever get the next big thing. It's never the case. Besides Thiago, can you name a real established first teamer that we signed? It's very, very difficult to think of. It's a wild scene. But the next thing I wanted to talk about, and this was a great signing from when we did, and he was for big money, it was Alisson. Now, Alisson, I believe he was, up there with the clean sheets in the Premier League this season, because we've had a defence which has been so ultimately poor, which Virgil van Dijk has been involved in, which has been Konate, Trent, everybody who has contributed to it. Every time they got beat, you had the presence of Alisson. Now, I watched the compilation video, and the topic that I'm bringing up is Alisson's the best goalkeeper in the world. And I understand Liverpool fans went through a period of saying every player in their team, or our team, is the best player in the world. But that was during a period where I think we were using the term right now. I feel like people don't give Liverpool fans that credit. We weren't saying best player in the world and that's the final say. Best player in the world right now. Best player in that position right this second, which for a lot of people, Virgil, Fabinho, Alisson, I feel like that was the case for the space of 18 months or around there, especially around the time where we won the Premier League and Champions League back-to-back. So I'm not trying to say that we had an era of dominance, but Alisson is the one guy, through all the people who've had the ups and downs, the players who have stayed and came, Alisson's the guy who's still been amazing. In fact, I only appreciate him more because one of the values in which he has, I'm a Christian, he's a Christian. He baptised Bobby apparently, which is amazing. And on top of this as well, he's a true leader. He's not just somebody who is informative when it comes to knowledge and wisdom of life. He's also somebody who's very intelligent on the pitch. In terms of his positioning, he's a very modern day goalkeeper. He's not traditional like a Ramsdale or a David De Gea who can make great saves, but the reason why they have to extend so far is because they're traditional goalkeepers. They don't understand the intricacy of positioning positioning, footwork. The same thing applies to goalkeeping as what it does in boxing. You're not getting hit in the face, but it's still reflex-based. You've got to be reactive. Therefore, you have to know the intricacies of the attributes. This is what, even on FIFA tell you this. FIFA say you need diving, you need positioning, and you need all these things. Whereas David De Gea and Ramsdale, these guys just need to make sure that ball doesn't go in the net. Now, I'm not saying that they don't train the intricacies at all, but nobody, or at least I haven't seen nobody in the past couple of years, because, Neuer's got slightly older and a few other goalkeepers and whatnot. Keylor Navas was amazing for Real Madrid. I'd suggest he's probably one of the more class goalkeepers in recent time. But otherwise, I can't think of anybody who competes with Alisson. Courtois, I don't think is as well-rounded. David De Gea, I don't even think is close. And Ederson is great, but he's still not as good as Alisson. So this is why I raised the question. Alisson is the best goalkeeper in the world. And in fact, even though we had a poor season, that further proves it. Because in so many situations, one-on-ones, best one-on-one goalkeeper in the world, best goalkeeper in the world at making himself look big. And he runs off the line. And in fact, the only time that Alisson has something that goes against him is when he overthinks, is when he maybe, his Brazilianness comes out of him and he just wants to make a crazy pass. But then even when you factor in the assists, the fact he actually helps us offensively as well as defensively, he's an instructor, he's somebody who's always communicating. There was a clip that I saw earlier of Alisson literally communicating with the defence on a corner, and he does this often, but this was just more of a good example, because I think it was against Man United. And next thing you know, the defence, they're doing their thing, and he has to make a world-class save, and he's done that in the space of 1.5 seconds. Just one of those goalkeepers that, when he leaves, we're not going to get a better goalkeeper than him. We won't. Because I don't see a goalkeeper right now in world football who is as well-rounded to his level. I really, really don't. I'm not saying he's free of mistakes. Like, any goalkeeper in the world right now isn't perfect. But I don't see a goalkeeper right now, you can let me know, who gets to that level. There will be somebody. There's always that next guy. The second you don't think there's the next guy, best believe you're replaceable. So somebody else will fill that void. So I'm not saying Alisson I'm not doing a Bret Hart where I'm saying he's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. But he is the best there is. He's the best there has been in recent time. And I think he's the best there ever will be for Liverpool for a good considerable while. For Liverpool, I have to emphasise. But right now, I think he's the best in the world. And I think for the hope that he's going to stay in this form and maintain this form for the next 2 or 3 years, at least, I'm very excited with that prospect, because people never think of the idea of building their team around a goalkeeper. Whereas I don't see Virgil in the team in 3 years, Salah in the team in 3 years, these players. But I do see Alisson in the team in 3 years. And I do see him playing well in 3 years. If I am to be optimistic, I believe that is a man who even has a couple more trophies in his future. Because I have an underlying faith that we can rebuild. The circumstances don't suggest it, but we just need to really hope Jurgen Klopp can cook. Because what's actually making me a little bit more optimistic is because I watched a little Shankly and Bob Paisley documentary last night, and it was just one of those things where, even Shankly went like 7 years without a trophy. But then the dominance post this was great, and then Bob Paisley took over and he done what he done. Jurgen Klopp is certainly a man manager, and I've got no incentive to always I'm transitioning to Klopp now, but I'm saying it because of the faith that I have for the team. Even though Jurgen is a man, there's certain things that I don't agree with, like the way he acts in press conferences sometimes, or certain things that he says on a political basis, or whatever have you. But the one thing that I will say about Klopp, he's a football man, and from a football standpoint, he's a genius. And in terms of a man manager, I believe he is one of the best, and if he's going to be the guy who sets the standards in the near and distant future, then we've got to let him cook. And this season's a big one, and Alisson being a part of that team is going to be a huge deal. Plus the signings that we mentioned at the start of the video, I'm really excited. Especially that documentary's got me excited for a little rebuild of Liverpool, to be honest. Just because we know what we aren't. We know that we're not, a team with immense resources. But we also know that we're not little dogs. Like, we know that we can compete. And if we don't compete, that's nobody's fault but our own. We've shown we can do it. So the excuse of resources is only there because if we're not efficient in signings, then it's only going to show what we've seen last season. If we don't keep getting signings, then it's going to show what we've been seeing 2 of the last 3 seasons. But we've got to have that little bit of faith that Jurgen Klopp can be the man to rebuild the team. He built Dortmund. He built Liverpool. Yes, he's never rebuilt one of those teams, but he's never had the chance to. Now he's getting into his 7th or 8th year. full year. So what does that entail? All remains to be seen. Guys, that's going to be the end of today's Redman Roundup. If you did enjoy, smash a like. There's going to be a stream later, as always. And again, looking to amplify the videos. Going to start getting clips out of the streams, and because we have some funny topics on those streams, and it'd be a big shame to just let it go to waste if you don't watch the full show. So I'll start putting clips out as well. But anyway, love to all of you, and I'll see you all in a bizzle. Peace.